carefully chosen words about a controversial candidate. That's what this case is about. On September 24th, 2006, two gunshots ring out. Reagan Thomas, a top reporter with CNN, runs to the yesterday. He sees Lane Hamilton lying dead on the ground, arms spread out, covered in blood. He sees Drew Walton, a controversial candidate with a reputation for violence, standing over Lane Hamilton's body. Reagan Thomas sees Drew Walton raise his hands as if to surrender. His hands are covered in blood, and he starts to back away from the body. Reagan Thomas sees a gun identified as Drew Walton on the ground next to the two men. Now at this point, Reagan Thomas did not rush to report the story based only on what she had seen. Instead, she did as she was trained. She continued to investigate. Reagan Thomas the investigation started with an eyewitness, Harley Kim. Harley Kim tells Reagan Thomas how he heard Lane Hamilton make a negative remark about Drew Walton's father, and how he saw Drew Walton pull a gun on Lane Hamilton, the man who is now dead. Harley Kim is a veteran photojournalist for CNN. He's trained to view and analyze the scene for a story, and on the night in question, Harley Kim was working as a photojournalist for Reagan Thomas. Miss Thomas had reason to believe Harley Kim and to trust her account. Now, Reagan Thomas interviewed other eyewitnesses as well as members of the police department. Now, some of these interviews were only preliminary, considering the vantage points, considering the disclosures that the witnesses had given to Reagan Thomas, based on the vantage points. One of these eyewitnesses was Miss Jan Patel, a janitor working at the city center on the night in question. And today we will call Mrs. Patel. We expect her to tell you how she approached Reagan Thomas with an eyewitness testimony, but how her desire to get on television outweighed any real value of testimony or whatever it could have given. Additionally, among the other eyewitnesses, among the other people that Reagan Thomas interviewed, was Mickey McQuiggan, a death investigator on the scene that night. Today we will also call Mr. McQuiggan, and we expect Mr. McQuiggan to tell you how his initial reaction upon arriving at the scene was that it could be a homicide, and we expect Mr. McQuiggan to tell you how he also related that information to Reagan Thomas at the end. Now, after the investigation was complete, Reagan Thomas called Fran Martin, a producer in the mission to write the story. However, Fran Martin rejected that position. And because Reagan Thomas questioned Fran Martin's adherence to Newman's ethical standards, he did as he was invited. She did as she was invited. She called Kit Berkshire, the president of CNN, for her opinion on whether to run the story. Now, Reagan Thomas related to Kit Berkshire what she had personally seen and what the witnesses that she deemed credible had reported. And based on this, Kit Berkshire decided that the investigation had been properly done, and she allowed the story to go on. However, we expect you to hear that Kit Berkshire was careful to guide Reagan Thomas in how to report the story, not to overstate the facts in stating her opinions as opinions. And to help explain this, we will call Kit Berkshire. We expect Ms. Berkshire to explain to you that she is confident that Reagan Thomas did not overstate the facts and adhered to the ethical standards set forth by the editor. Now, we know the broadcast ran that night. That is why the plaintiff was brought about this lawsuit. What is in question is whether the broadcast broke the law. Now, specifically, Mr. Walton's attorneys have to prove the following things. They have to prove that the report was published in false, intentional, defamatory in nature, and caused the plaintiff, Drew Walton, to suffer harm or injury as a result of publication. Additionally, because Drew Walton is a public figure, they must prove clear and convincing evidence that the internet acted with actual malice in publishing the statement. Now, by law, we do not have a burden. CNN does not have to prove or present anything. We feel it is important for you to hear what investigation went into reporting the story and what was actually said in the story. Not a summary of the story, but the carefully chosen words that were used. Ladies and gentlemen, we are confident that at the end of this trial, you will see that Reagan Thomas did not overstate the facts. Reagan Thomas accurately reported the story. Reagan Thomas reported the story based on the facts available at that time. So when you listen to the carefully chosen words of this controversial candidate, my co-counsel, Mr. C.J. Lewis, will ask you to find that the plaintiff is not Mr. Brigham, and you to find D and N not lying.